Welcome, everybody, to our Rotary meeting today. We have a wonderful program to look forward to, presented by Jackie Hallberg from the Mediation and Restoration Services. And we have student guests today. That's great, from Muskegon Catholic. So we'll begin the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance, a little literacy, and then the reflection will be offered by Darlene Collet. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And as Darlene approaches, you'll get you a little bit of literacy from a distinguished professor of environmental and Native American, and it says, Robin Kilmer says, with words at your disposal, you can see more clearly. Finding the word is another step in learning to see.
Thank you, Jane. I am sharing with you this morning an English prayer, no known author, but if I could write, I would have written this. Take time to work, it is the price of success. Take time to think, it is the source of power. Take time to play, it is the secret of perpetual youth. Take time to read, it is the fountain of wisdom. Take time to be friendly, it is the road to happiness. Take time to dream, it's like hitching your wagon to a star. Take time to look around, it's too short a day to be selfish. Take time to laugh, it's the music of the soul.
Thank you, Darlene. Well, enjoy your lunch. We will be reconvening in about 10 minutes for the program. Visiting Rotarians. And so I'm going to ask our members to bring their guest up, and that would be Chip Chipman, Kelly DeVos and Susan Crane, would you come up with your guest?
Okay.
Is DJ trying to get into the lineup?
I did.
You think so, huh?
Please.
What do you think? Should we allow him to take cuts in the line? Yeah, you got a little bit of support. Okay.
All right.
All right. You can go stand down there.
Sorry. Really not a guest, actually a potential new member, but I want to make sure that you all recognize what her new role and title is. And I'm not speaking to you as prosecutor, I'm speaking to you as the board president for the Boys and Girls Club. Monica Turnbull is our new CEO. She started on October, no, not October, it's not even October yet. Last August.
And then my first day as CEO was last Monday.
Yes, last Monday. And obviously, it was really important that we had this decision made because we had our huge groundbreaking on Tuesday for the building. If you see the equipment's there, they're digging holes. And I think what's really cool is that we have Muskegon Catholic Central here, or they were here, as the student representatives. There they are. And Monica is a Muskegon Catholic Central graduate.
Yay.
So we're super excited. I want to thank, I know we've got some of the search committee members. I'm sorry, I'm taking way too much time.
Yes.
Bob Skolnick, Chris McWigan, myself, and a few others, and I apologize. But please welcome Monica. I'm sure she'll be tapping a lot of you on the shoulder. So
Excellent.
thank you, Monica.
Okay. Take an X.
Hello, everyone. My guest today is Summer, aka Dr. Crowell. She just finished school in North Carolina for occupational therapy, so she's returned home to Michigan to study for her boards. Yeah, so I thought I'd bring her along to say hi to all you fine folks.
And for the fourth time, Susan Crane here with Dimitri Poland, who went to orientation, submitted his application, so board meets on Tuesday. So with not luck, but with recommendation, he will become a member in a few weeks. Thanks.
So we know DJ has a favorite school. Are there any other MCC fans in the house? Because we've got the students here. All right, I did that poorly. You have to cheer a lot louder than that because we've got Crusaders in the house. B+ work. We'll work on it. This is new for the year. All right, to introduce two of the seniors is Stephanie Callow. She is the principal at the high school.
So we have two of our seniors here with us. We're in week 3 of school, so we are back into the rhythm of things. Athletics are going really well. Academics are in the building again happening, which is great to have our students and families back in the building. That's the way we like our building. So the first senior that we have is Caroline Ladd, and then we also have Braden Gustin, and I'm gonna hand it over to them so that they can share a little bit about themselves. Something that we also offer, we have Student Council NHS, and then we do have an Interact group that we're getting up and running too. So they are both a part of that as well. So I'll let them speak a little bit more.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Ladd. I'm a senior at Muskegon Catholic. I'm a part of the Interact Club, as Mrs. Cal said. I'm also a part of the National Honor Society and the National Art Honor Society. I'm the Secretary-Treasurer of the Student Council, and I'm on the varsity soccer team and the varsity basketball team. And next year. So I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna want to go yet, but I'm leaning towards like biology or nursing, undergrad, and then eventually PA school.
My name's Braden Gustin. I go to Muskegon Catholic Central. I'm in the National Honor Society, Interad Club, and I'm on the Quiz Bowl team. I play basketball, baseball, and football. Next year, I hope to become an optometrist and go to Fair State, hopefully. And Yeah, that's all. That's about all.
All right.
I think we,
Pardon? Oh. Hi, I'm Joan Schmidt. I have my friend here from Florida, and Annoy, and she's spending the fall with us and planning on going to the ball games at Grand Valley.
this is a program that, oh, wait a minute, we want this to happen first. Because I'm really looking forward to having this happen. This is a presentation today from the Mediation. You know who you are. So Arn, come on up. Help me. All of this, DJ just threw me off my pattern. It's really tough.
Track of the protocols here. Good afternoon, everyone. Arn Bozard here, and it is my great pleasure to be able to introduce today's speaker, Jackie Hallberg, to my right here. I also serve as a board member of the Mediation Restorative Services Agency. It's always a mouthful, sometimes commonly referred to as MNRS. So if you hear that mentioned, that's what we're talking about. The Mediation and Restorative Services Agency focuses on mediation, conflict resolution, restorative justice, and reentry services in Muskegon, Oceana-Mason, and Manistee counties. I got to read my notes here. Jackie is certified as a mediator herself, which is a very extensive and rigorous process to become a certified mediator. So it's not a minor thing to accomplish. She has an extensive background working with those who have been victimized as well as with both juvenile and adult offenders. Jackie worked for MNRS, see, now I'm going to use the abbreviation, for 14 years earlier in her career. And then she worked as a school counselor, worked with victims of domestic sexual violence, and then as the police community coordinator at the City of Muskegon Police Department prior to returning to Mediation and Restorative Services Agency to serve as the director. Jackie is also trained as an end-of-life doula and has just launched her side gig called Tripping with Jax, and will be sharing and debuting some of her travel interest and with a blog in the next couple of weeks. Jackie has lived in Muskegon County her entire life, and just as a kind of a personal note of interest, has shared the same pen pal from the county of Trinidad since she was in 2nd grade. That's a long time and a wonderful place to have a pen pal. Jackie graduated from Ravenna High School, and received her bachelor's degree from Central Michigan University and her master's degree in social work from Grand Valley State University. Jackie is also the vice president of the Orchard View School Board and is passionate about inclusion, suicide prevention, and animal rescue activity. So someone with a broad range of experience and interest. Jackie strives to see a happier, healthier, and safer world for all. I introduce to you Jackie Hallberg.
Well, thank you, Arn, so much for that. And I also want to give a shout out. I have multiple board members that are Rotarians, so thank you for those of you that are here. They know very well, and some of you guys know because you're friends of mine or your community partners, I talk really fast, and I apologize. I try so hard to change, but guys, I'm getting old, and it's really hard to slow down. Feel free to try to slow me down, and I'll do my best, but I do want to share our message with you today, and really thank you guys for letting us be here. You guys have a great amount of speakers that want to come to you, and so thank you for letting us be on your thing. Go right ahead, Mike. Oh, I forgot to grab that. See, I'm already failing. Thank you. Okay, you can go ahead and turn that on too. I also want to let you know that my daughter was actually in the first Interact group for Orchard View that went to El Salvador. So I'm excited that Muskegon Catholic is starting that too, because it's so cool starting young, getting involved, and really seeing that different country diversity. Like Arn said about my pen pal, we have never met, but we started in second grade writing each other, and we communicate all the time now through social media. And relationship building is so important, especially for our youth. And unfortunately, a lot of the youth I work with don't have great relationships, not in their family and not in their community. So I'm going to tell you a lot about our services today, and hopefully ways you can learn about us and maybe ways you can get involved. So Mike, whenever you're ready, thank you. So our agency has a weird name and even weirder email trying to email us. So I apologize for those long names, but it is Mediation and Restorative Services. We get called medication, meditation, and all kinds of other things. As long as you get a hold of me, I'll answer to it though, so feel free to do that. Our focus has been around for 28 years in the world of conflict resolution. Now, I want to see a show of hands. How many of you love every single human in the world, or do some people just tick you off? Raise your hand if they tick you off. Family members, coworkers, friends, neighbors, people on the yacht. Yeah, I get it all, right? Guess what? We are one of the most underutilized agencies around because people don't want to talk about conflict. We want to say we're getting along with everybody and roses and butterflies in our life, right? But conflict happens, and that's what our agency is all about. So I'm going to see if I remember which way is up and which way is down. Let's see. Do I point it somewhere, Mike, or am I totally messing it up? Yay, look at that. See, I'm learning so many new things right in front of a big group of people, so I appreciate that. So I know we're in Muskegon County today, but most of our program services Muskegon, Oceana, Mason, and Manistee. So right up the county of, or the line of Lake Michigan, which we love so much. But there are 16 other centers just like ours around the state of Michigan. So if anything we talk about today just kind of jumps out, but you have somebody on the other side of the state, somebody up north, somebody in Grand Rapids or Holland, I can connect you with those people. So just let me know if you have any interest. So we started, like I said, 28 years ago with a community focus. It was people that maybe their neighbors were parking in their driveway or blaring their music, or their dogs were barking so much. And so what happened is they would call the courts. The courts did not have time to deal with barking dogs and people parking in the wrong spot. So the state decided, wow, maybe there's this thing called mediation that could happen. And as Arn alluded to, mediators are not just somebody that wants to help somebody. There are people that go through a very extensive 48-hour training plus a 10-hour observation internship, and then they start mediating. So they can help people with any kind of disputes. They can still do those barking dog complaints, but now we work with divorce situations and parenting time situations, landlord disputes. We deal with things from employers when employees aren't getting along. Remember, we saw those raised hands? Those things can all be solved through mediation if the participants are willing and they want to use our service. Now, we don't guarantee anything. Everything is strictly confidential, and both parties have to want to come. Now, when I say they have to want to come, some of them are court-ordered, and the judge says, you have to go to mediation, or the prosecutor says, you have to go to mediation. However, if they tell us they don't want to go, we're not going to force them. We're just not going to force them. And so then they have a whole bunch of other consequences for different agencies. Most of our services are free of charge. And the reason for that is we get great funding sources through the state of Michigan, but we also get United Way funds. And I know a lot of you guys support our local United Way, so thank you for that. You're helping with some of our youth services and a lot of the family services, so people either don't have to pay any money or they can pay just a low rate of money. A lot of people can't afford attorneys, or they can only afford attorneys for certain parts of the court process, so we try to be able to help them out through that. So 28 years ago, we really were only conflict resolution. And then it was right around 2000, 2001, we started hearing these really cool words called restorative justice. And if you can remember the names of Judge Mullally and Dave Cotter and Ernie Stacy and Paul Wishka and Brian Mattson, they were some of our powerhouses in the court system and in the community that started thinking about restorative justice. And what that is it's bringing together people that are, they are usually a victim of a crime, an offender of a crime, but sometimes it can even be somebody that is just, I'm going a little wrong way, don't mind me. Oh, I love this thing. They are actually somebody that had a harm happen to them, so it's about repairing that harm. So somebody, maybe they stole your purse, maybe they broke your window, but maybe they just called you a really bad name and now you're so mad at them, you just want to throw things at them. Or maybe you're to the point where you're just like, you know what, I never want to see that person again. And so you're getting all this anger every time you see them. Well, that means there was a harm committed. Restorative justice work, or what we call victim offender mediation, might be an opportunity to resolve those issues for you. So if you were to call us, we can let you know if the case is appropriate. But restorative justice is a way that can just make people feel whole again. They had a harm committed to them. If you've never had anybody steal from you, count yourself lucky, because most of us have had some kind of theft. The very first time I ever had any kind of crime in my life, I grew up in Ravenna, guys. There was no crime in Ravenna. Until one day, I was getting ready for my dad to take me to school, because Ravenna had all kinds of bus cuttings, and we had to be driven to school if we lived too far away. We opened the door. There was no truck in our driveway. It was just gone. And we're like, what happened? It was here when we left. Someone stole our truck. It was life-changing for me and my family, all of our neighbors, and the entire community of Ravenna, because they didn't just steal my dad's truck that night, they stole 2 other trucks. And what they did, they actually found the trucks the next day. They took them to an abandoned field, like way out that nobody would see for a while, and they basically did like demolition derby. They just took these trucks and just beat the crap out of them. Sorry, I say crap. They rolled one of the trucks. There was actually like chains around the one truck, and they were like playing tug of war. They bashed out all the windows. They popped every tire. There were beer cans all over. Somebody just stole these trucks to literally have fun. But for us, it was terrifying. I didn't want to go to school that day because I thought it was going to be people were going to laugh at me and say, guess what happened to your dad's truck? Or, hey, I'm the one that did it to you. Or they weren't going to tell me it was, but I would know that they were the ones that did it. So we never got healed. The police never caught who did that. We never got to have our say. We never got any payments other than a couple little insurance payments for the truck. We never got to have our voice. And through victim offender mediation, if they would have been able to sit down with us, we wouldn't have just talked about the damages of the truck. We would have talked about the damages of, I didn't even want to go to school that day. And I was an honor kid, just like some of our Muskegon Catholic kids. You know, I didn't miss school, I love school, and I did not even want to go to school because of that. So when you're talking harm, when you're talking conflict, you don't have to deal with it all by yourself. You can call an agency like ours, and we may be able to assist you. Through some of that great work with restorative justice and working with the court systems, we were able to get into the adult court systems. And we started with juveniles, moved to the adults. Then we started working in what was called the prisoner reentry program. And that was an initiative in Michigan for quite a few years to really say, when you come back to your community after a prison sentence, which is always at least 1 year, what's going to change? How are things going to be different for you? And one of the things our mediation center focused on was that family dynamic, because we do domestic situations, we do parenting time situations and mediations. And what we found was so many times when you get out of prison, you just think everybody's going to be in the exact same frame of mind they were before you left. And if you had a maybe 6-year-old kid and you get out of prison in 6 years and they're now a teenager, not the same dynamics. So we started doing that work, and that was amazing work, except if you don't know much about grants, sometimes they're time limited and they get cut. Right about the time they cut that program, we had this amazing opportunity to be part of a collaboration with the Exit program, which is the amazing reentry program that now Mediation and Restorative Services oversees, but it's really a partnership, a collaboration with the prosecutor's office, the sheriff, so many great community partners, and many of them that are here today, to really focus on those that are actually at the felony convicted jail level, either housed in jail or right after they get out of jail, to say, guess what? You're part of our community, but we don't want you committing crime again. So how can we not do that? We can help you by getting your education, your employment skills, and then those beautiful things called life skills, because we need to build relationships. So many of our participants don't believe that they are welcome in Muskegon, that they're welcome in some of your businesses or some of the agencies here in town. And so our Exit program really strives to bridge that gap and really make sure that they have an awesome opportunity with that. So those are our basic programs: conflict resolution, restorative justice, and the Exit program. So those are some of our basic things. Some of the different things that people don't realize is we're also connected through the entire state for things like behavioral health mediations. So if any of you have family members or maybe clients or participants that use mental health services, such as Health West or a community-based health agency, and they don't go to therapy, or they don't like their agency they're going to. We may even be able to help them through mediation with that situation. We also do agricultural mediation. So if you're a farmer or you know farmers, there's a lot of logistics and a lot of issues and pressures that farmers have. We can also help in those capacities. So it's not just limited to some of the things I talked about earlier. It's really an opportunity to help with any kind of conflict. So we've been around 28 years, and I want to hear how many of you, by raising your hand, had ever heard about us before today, or before you heard about the slide or you got the thing. All right, this is probably the biggest group that I've ever seen raise your hand. Most people are like, I've never heard of you. I don't even know what you do. I didn't know this was here. Yes, it's here, but nobody talks about it. So that's my big ask of you guys. Please talk about us. If you know people are going through conflict, if you know people have some issues, if somebody's been harmed, somebody's had a crime against them, advocate that they deserve to use their voice. And in mediation, we're not going to tell them what to do. We are not a judge. We don't give legal advice. We provide a safe space for them to have their voice heard. And most time when you're in conflict, how much do you want to listen to the other person's side? Because you're right, right? They're not right, you're right. In mediation, we give you guys a chance to hear each other. You can still think you're right, but at least maybe you see a different side of stuff. So the big ask is to talk about us, let people know about us. We're not a scary agency. We're totally confidential. So if you referred somebody, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you if the person came or not unless they choose to tell you. But what we're going to do is we're going to provide that service, which I can't wait to do. But we cannot do it without volunteers. And volunteers are crucial to our funding sources, and they're crucial to knowing how to assist people because of this training. So if you have a little free time on your hands, if you want to give back to your community, if you want to be somebody that can really say, not only am I doing this for the community, but I'm doing this to help build relationships and hopefully have more of a crime-free, conflict-free community, this is the kind of work you want to do. So maybe you don't have time right now because you're so busy. Maybe you know somebody else out there that is willing to take the time to go through the training and see if they can assist. If you can't assist because you can't go through our full volunteer training, you can be a mentor, or you can be a volunteer in our exit program. You can help lead classes with us. You can help do office work, or just spread the message of us. So we would love any opportunity you have to just kind of network with us. You can call me directly. We can set up a meeting. I can come to your agency. I usually talk a little slower in smaller groups, so if you're worried your people can't keep up with me, I promise I can do it a little slower in a smaller group. But really, I just want to make sure that you guys know we're here for all of you. There is nobody that we're going to say we can't serve unless it's a sexual assault, or it's ongoing domestic violence, or if it's something the prosecutor tells us we can't see when it's a court case. Because we're going to listen to him because he's my board president, right? Not just the prosecutor, so we have to make sure about that. But what we'll do is we'll let you guys know. We're not going to leave you hanging. If it's a problem, we're going to be there for you if we can assist. We're not going to force you to do anything. We're not going to share your personal business. We're not going to say, guess what, this business called us because they have employee issues, or this school needed us because they had violence in their school. We can do a lot of things without anybody knowing, and maybe we can make some change, and that's what we're really hoping for. So I'm wrapped up with my talk. I could go on for hours and hours without hardly even taking breaths, but I would love to see if anybody has any questions or any comments that they want to make about this.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Jean.
No, don't go away.
Well, she looks so official. I was just thinking nobody wanted to.
No. I'm just here to give you moral support.
I appreciate that.
And I actually have a question.
Please.
You have a relationship with the schools in the community?
Absolutely.
And can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So some of the things we do for schools, and I appreciate you bringing that up. We do direct to truancy mediations. We do parent-child mediations. If a parent is saying, my kid won't go to school because they don't want to get out of bed, well, maybe there's some other issues going on, and maybe the school just hasn't had a chance to figure those out, and they don't have the time to do that. They may be able to do that through mediation. We also do the STAY program. Some of you may have remembered the STAY program was in multiple school districts a few years ago, and that was really an opportunity for kids that are going to be long-term suspended or possibly expelled, give them a chance to kind of earn their way back into the school sooner. Now, we don't want to put somebody into the school sooner if they're going to be a violent threat, but if they just made a bad decision or a mistake, we want to give them that opportunity. So I still do that program, and if anybody from other schools are interested in learning about that, please reach out to me. We also offer special education services, so if you have a family that is struggling with their IEP meetings, or if they are having trouble talking to the school, we can also facilitate those too. Yep. Thank you, Jean.
I have a question over here. Kind of similar to the schools, do you work with the police departments? Because we actually have a situation in our neighborhood where everybody, for the most part, gets along, but there's more recently been a situation that involves an older man and a younger kid and a basketball that has heightened into a really bad situation. And the police have been called a few times, and every time I'm like, why don't they involve you?
Yes, yes.
Because these people, I don't think there's anything inherently that can't be worked out, but they're not going to come up with that on their own, and I feel it's not really my place to say something. So I'm just wondering if that's something the police, if you get called once or twice, can they refer them to you?
Absolutely. So great question. First of all, you don't need a court order to refer to us. You can just pick up the phone and say, I'm angry at this person, or I can't handle what's going on here, and you can call us. And as long as you give us a contact information on that person, email, phone number, even a mailing address, we can try to resolve that situation. We do reach out to police departments as often as possible. Police are very busy people, so if any of you have it in with any law enforcement officers that want to learn about our processes, we would love that. We also have little tiny sheets we can give police officers. They could just hand somebody and say, please just try to contact them, because we know it's not just that basketball that started this issue, it's something else, or it was one thing that escalated because they didn't have a relationship and they didn't want to talk through it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Did you say, can we cover the costs that participants pay for mediation? So in our juvenile cases, those victim offender mediation cases we talked about, or the school cases, right now there's not even any fee. For our agricultural and our behavioral health cases, no fee at all. Special education cases, no fees at all. Other than that, we usually charge $25 a person, or $50 a person if it's a divorce situation, because that takes a lot more time. Otherwise, if it's a property dispute or real estate dispute and it's lots and lots of monies, we're going to ask for a little bit more. If anybody tells us they are indigent, we will more than happy work with them. If they want to give us $5 a month, if they can't pay anything, we're going to work with them. We're not going to offer that right off the bat, because we are a nonprofit and we need to pay for our light bill and everything too, but we're absolutely going to work with them. Yeah. Except Aaron's on my finance committee, so we better not let him hear that we waive fees sometimes.
Yeah, could you give details about the training? How many days, how often a year, that kind of thing?
Thank you so much for bringing up the training again, because that volunteering is so important. Right now, almost all the mediator training is actually held virtually. So you may be sitting in Muskegon County and your trainer might be in Flint or up in the UP or down in Grand Rapids, and you can actually do all of that training through there. If you're willing to commit to our office to volunteer with us, we're going to pay for your training. You don't even have to pay for that. Otherwise, you can be paying anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars to be a trained mediator. There are a few centers that are offering in-person trainings. If that's more your learning style, I would be able to connect you with that. In order to have us pay for that, you actually have to go through a process with us. I'll do a mini interview with you, make sure that you're going to be cleared through our background check situation, make sure that you adhere to confidentiality, and that you're in it for the right reasons, because some people just sign up because they just want this little tag next to their name to say they're a certified mediator, but they don't really want to help anybody, or they think they can pretend to be a judge for a day when they go to mediation, and those aren't the people that are going to be the most quality mediators. So we do a screening process. Reach out to me and I'll connect you and let you know when those dates are. Sometimes we have dates all through the year, and sometimes they're spread out, and we don't hear about another training for a couple months at a time. So it depends on what your interest level is, and I can find you a time that might work for you. It's a 40-hour training for what we call general civil mediation. So that's property disputes and the barking dog cases in minor situations. It's 48 hours training for those that want to do domestic, which means you're dealing with divorce situations, you're dealing with parenting time issues where two parents are not sure who gets the kids on the holidays, or when there's a snow day, or when there's school vacations. And so we'll mediate those cases as well. And that's a little more extensive training because there's a whole domestic violence protocol that they have to go through for that training as well. One of my wonderful board members.
Just a quick question. For those who might be interested in being a volunteer mediator, what could they expect the the call or the ask to be of how often they would be used in what we have here in Muskegon.
Great. So the biggest ask is going through that training, making sure that you understand the roles and what that responsibility is to be a mediator. And then from there, it's on your schedule. After your 40 or 48-hour training, you'll go through a 10-hour observation where you sit in mediation like a little fly on the wall. You don't get to talk, but you get to write things down and then reconnect with the mediators afterwards and do what we call a debrief and say, why did you say that to them? Or why did you decide that? And why did you know what to say to get them to start to agree or listen to each other? So they go through 10 hours of that, and after that, it's totally your schedule. If you can say you can give me one Tuesday morning a month, we will give you one Tuesday morning a month. If you're just like, I have so much afternoon time free and I really want to get as many cases in as possible, we will call you all the time. Now, you may not be mediating in Muskegon, you might be mediating in Manistee or Oceana, but most always it's going to be virtual right now. Very few cases are in person, so we have that flexibility. However, if you would need to drive, we could cover your mileage if you needed to, and we would work all of that out. We do what we call a weekly update for all of our mediators and volunteers, so they just know what's going on with us, and then we meet with them as often as possible to keep them connected to us. There's a lot of crime, guys. There's a lot of conflict in our town. We could be way busier if we had more volunteers, and that would reduce the issues in the courts and the delay of some of those cases, and it would make neighborhoods not be angry at basketballs as much because they're actually resolving those cases. So those volunteers are crucial to the success of our programs. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Jamie.
Well, that is a power-packed presentation. I think you gave twice as much information per minute than we've had for a long time. But this is a power-packed agency. They've been working in this community so long and so well. I'm really happy to have you come and talk to us. And we will be giving a donation to a literacy fund in your honor for a thank you gift for talking to us. Okay, now it is birthday time. And we have two birthdays here. One is Jonathan Wilson on September 9th, and one is Belinda Barbier on September 13th. And did we miss somebody who gave us a tenner as they walked in? Oh, from last week. Do you see how good our members are? Kim, every time they have a birthday, they give us a gift, and we really appreciate it. Are our birthday people here today? Oh, they're going to get a bill. Okay. Then let's move on to Making a Difference. This is a little video program that we are instituting in our meeting, and we're asking people in the community, agencies in the community who are making a difference, who are directing their activities in concert with our Rotary International goals of promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, saving mothers and children, supporting education, growing local economies, or protecting the environment. And today, if you got your Rotary magazine and you open up and there's a wonderful article about the library where the books are human beings. And we have one of those libraries here in Muskegon. So would you roll the tape?
This was a really wonderful experience. Every person spoke in his, her, or their own voices. The people were just astounding with their honesty and their transparency and their sharing of who they are and how they got to this point in life.
People have stories. They just do. Just because you're first generation Hispanic in the United States doesn't mean you have to fall into those stereotypes.
Throughout my life, you know, I've been told you can't do something because you're a female. So I spent my life proving them wrong.
You have to know what's in you. You can't let your circumstances define who you are.
I hope that when people see this, they can really connect with us on a more personal level.
These are our neighbors. These are our co-workers. These are our family. The humans of Muskegon, we are one community. All these different stories make up who we are. I really believe that diversity makes us richer.
You can change your circumstances, no matter what those circumstances are, and you can be a good person.
Just having that commonality with people helps sometimes.
We all are interconnected and we need support. And if you pull out all the support from one person, what's left?
Everyone we interviewed has felt separated from others for whatever the reason, whatever the situation in life, felt alone. And this project changes that. They're not alone. And you know what? Either are we. And I think this will go a long way toward connecting us.
What a wonderful way to build relationships, as we were talking about before. Another way of building peace in our community. Today, we have an induction. So I want to invite Aslan Scott and Robert Mathis forward. So we have our newest Rotarian. I feel like we should have some kind of music or, you know, da 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 da.
Rotarians. I have with me today, and I'm honored to say, Robert Mathis. And some of you have met Robert. He came a couple months ago, I think it was. And he's actually a member. Today, I'm happy to say we're going to do the induction. And so he created this bio, and it is so heartwarming and refreshing because it's just a real personal look at his life. He's a very transparent person, and I've come to really care a lot about this young man. So to begin with, Robert Mathis was born in Detroit and lived in the Jeffrey Projects with his mother and two brothers, and that was a while ago. I won't say what year. At age 7, his mother, a single parent, purchased a home on the outskirts of Detroit where he and his brothers grew up. They learned how to depend on one another at this time while his mother was attending school, full-time to become a nurse as well as working as a gas station attendant part-time. Rob's family was on public assistance, but they also had lots of help from family and friends. His mother continued her education and worked hard to provide for her family. And as a youngster, he witnessed how hard his mother struggled to make what she could and to be able to provide the necessities for her family. Rob tried as much as possible to help with his little brothers, hoping to make things a little easier for his mother. But she taught them, and she taught them well, about love, respect, and responsibility, which are the core principles upon which Rob lives his life today. In the summer of 1983, Rob moved to Muskegon to live with his father, his stepmother, and her children, 6 more brothers and sisters for Rob, of which he was still the oldest. He graduated from Muskegon Heights High School in 1984, my alma mater. A month later, Rob joined the Army as a nuclear, biological, chemical warfare specialist. That's a mouthful. Rob is a proud veteran, needless to say. After military service, and he's retired from military, how could he be retired so young? So after military service, Rob held various jobs until deciding to pursue his education at Muskegon Community College, where he received an associate's degree in management and marketing. He then earned his bachelor's degree in human resource management from Kaplan University. While attending Muskegon Community College, Rob interned for summer celebration, and this is where he developed a passion for community service. He worked for that organization for about 11 years. Over 16 years ago, the father of 7 children, Rob met and fell in love with his wife, Raina, and they instantly became a big, blended family. Raina had 6 children of her own, and together they have 7 sons and 6 daughters. Now that's a family. There was never a dull moment at the Mathis' home, and the holidays are always one for the books. And in a few months, he and Raina will have celebrated their 13th year of marriage. Rob says, "I could not be more grateful." Together, Rob and Raina founded City Boy Corporation, a local nonprofit in North Muskegon, where they love serving the community. Rob's dream is to take this organization globally with headquarters based in here, or in North Muskegon, that is. And the slogan is "People Helping People, run by volunteers." Currently, they are planning to open a Mexican restaurant and catering service where Raina can serve her delicious, homemade, authentic meals. Raina loves to feed people and takes pride in her cooking, and Rob wants to support her in her dreams, just as she's always done for him, and she continues to do so at City Boy. Rob's hobbies and activities include writing, traveling, biking, and walks in the woods. Muskegon Rotary, please join me in welcoming our newest member, Rob Mathis.
Fellow Rotarians, it is the duty of every Rotary Club to add new members from time to time so that we may not only increase our usefulness and influence as a club, but also to extend the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. And today, I welcome into our ranks and admit to membership Ron Mathis. You have been elected to membership in this club because your fellow members believe that you are a worthy representative of your calling and also possess the qualities that permit you to exemplify the true spirit of Rotary in your public, business, social, and private life. I wish to impress upon you that you have been admitted not only to the Rotary Club of Muskegon, but to a worldwide association. And by virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed into fellowship in any Rotary Club in the world. The honor and privilege of Rotary membership carries with it duties and obligations. You will be expected to attend club meetings regularly, to perform your share of club service, and to place your knowledge and talents at the disposal of the club in its task of carrying out the principles of Rotary into the daily lives of the community. I ask all of our members to rise. In the name of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I now formally admit you to membership of the club. Pregnant pause. Another pregnant pause while I get my place in line here. And affix to your lapel the emblem of our Rotary Club. And so, fellow Rotarians, I commend to you the newest Rotarian in the world, Robert Mathis. There's your four-way test and a plaque that you can display in your office or wherever your community will see you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you, guys.
And now we have announcements. And the most important announcement from Kim It's a reminder that if you have not done so yet, pay your dues. The new billing cycle will begin October 1st, and you'll be, we like to have all of the July dues paid prior to that time. So this is kind of an interesting policy that you pay your past dues before you pay your, I don't care what direction you do it, just get them paid, okay? Another announcement we have is from the Peace Builders Club, and we have a wonderful presentation on September 21st at 4 p.m. at Heritage Landing in Rotary Park. So please put that in your outlooks. The speech is going to be by Gaia Tampu, a peace scholar. She's coming not only to speak to us, but to help us install some peace poles that have been created by our own Poppin students. And so that'll be an event that will be really fun. It's going to start at 4 p.m. Now, you're used to people standing up here, John Nolan, and asking for contributions of many different kinds. Money, I'm not going to ask for that. Volunteers, you know, just come and have a good time. But what we really need is cookies. Cookies. We're expecting like 100 people, and we don't want them to faint from sugar deprivation during this. And so we are asking our members to volunteer to come to this event with a dozen cookies. And we want to know who you are. So anyone who can come to the event with a dozen homemade cookies, that's my plea, homemade, and chocolate chip, of course, please let us know. I will. Annette, who do we have over here? Chris? Liz? You know who you are. Lisa? So what are we up to, 5? John Nolan? Oh, John, good volunteer. Anybody else? John really knows how to bake. If you want to get some cookies, get John's cookies. Or if you think you're any better than John, oh yeah, Darlene, she's probably better. You got some competition here. Anybody else? Cookies? Cookies, coconut macaroon? Oatmeal with raisin? Well, okay, I think we've got quite a few. Yes. Sure will. It's going to be September 21st at 4 p.m. at the Heritage Landing. Okay, now I have had the first dilemma that I had to face as a president of this esteemed Rotary Club was that we didn't have enough cookies at the end of the meeting. So now is our chance to redeem ourselves. So anyone who gets inspired and wants to bring cookies, we're going to ask you to contact Annette Jack, and we're looking forward to that. And remember, coconut macaroons. Okay. Whoa, the heavy load of leadership around here. Whew. Okay, we have a raffle. So that would be Josh. Whoa. Up here, yay. Oh. Next week, our program is going to be a highlight of not only this year's work of our youth, but a culmination of how many years have we been doing the Life Leadership Conference? 73 years. So we'll be able to meet 5 of the graduates of the Life Leadership Conference next week. And these kids have all given us a written idea of what they thought of the Life Leadership, and they are knockouts. These are kids that you really want to come and listen to. So that will be next week's program. And now we're going to adjourn the meeting by rising and offering the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?